Hey, today I'm going to be talking about astrological elements, qualities, and polarities. And these three aspects of any sign describe the sign. So if you have a chart that has the elements, qualities, and polarities of zodiac signs, even if you don't really know the zodiac sign, you'll still have an idea of the fundamental nature of that sign, kind of like a shortcut. And these are also important when you look at someone's birth chart because you look for overall distribution, how many elements they have of each kind, how many qualities they have of each kind, and the balance of polarities as well. So we'll get into that just a bit. Okay, so first I'm going to go through the different elements. Then we'll do qualities. Then we'll do polarities. Okay, so the elements, there are four: fire, earth, air, and water. You probably have already heard of them. And it just kind of gives you an idea of basic temperament. So first we have fire. I'm going to do the symbol and then the name. So we have fire. These are just the alchemical symbols. I know in one of my other videos, someone asked if I had made them up, but no, I have not. Earth. Then we have air and water. Okay, so fire. Well, first a word on the balance of these elements. If on your whole natal chart, your whole birth chart, you have more than 4 of any of these, it will definitely impact your behavior. If you have 5 or more, that's an abundance, considered an abundance. So say you're in Aries, that's your sun sign, which is a fire sign, but you have in the rest of your chart like 6 Taurus, which is an earth sign. Even though your sun sign is fire, you're going to have a lot of the characteristics of an earth sign. You're going to come across as really earthy because you have so many in earth signs, So it could be too, your sun sign is in Aries, and then you have a lot of placements in Taurus and Virgo, and then maybe 1 in Capricorn for a total of 6 or 7. That will affect your personality. So 4 has an impact, 5 is a lot, 7 is a lot. I have 6 Capricorn placements alone, plus some more earth, so don't worry if you have an abundance. And then if you have 0 to 2, then you have a deficiency. There's nothing to worry about. It just explains maybe some things that come not that easily to you. And if you have a deficiency, sometimes you overcompensate even to try to seem like you act more like a fire or whatever than you actually do, but it's actually very draining for you because it doesn't come naturally. Well, we'll go through what each of these is like, and then let's see, how do we want to do it? Actually, I'm going to write the zodiac signs here because we're going to fill in a big chart down here with the elements, qualities, and polarities of each zodiac sign. And I'll go through the characteristics of these elements, speak a little more on compensations, and then we'll move on. So here we have it for Aries. Taurus. I have to apologize too. I don't know how my handwriting will be because I'm in a new setup, and it's actually pretty hard for me to write right now in this current setup. So here's our little strange looking bowl. We have Gemini, Cancer, we have Leo, Virgo, Libra, Virgo, and Libra. Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Capricorn, and then finally Aquarius and Pisces. Everything went really well except for Taurus up here. Apologize to all the Tauruses. Okay, so that was bothering me, so I fixed it. We have a better Taurus now and a better Leo. So last word on compensations that I want to say is that if there's a deficiency, the compensations, this is the thing. You may overcompensate yourself, but also there are certain ways to have compensations in your natal chart or birth chart. So if you have hardly any fire, for example, you're lacking in fire. But if your Mars sign is in fire, in particular Aries, that will compensate slightly, even if you have no other fire. But that said, the compensations, they heighten your desire to have those characteristics, but not exactly your skills to demonstrate those characteristics. Okay, so now we're going to go through all the zodiac signs and put what element they are. First we have fire, right? So they favor action, they take risks. They're confident, idealistic, intense, energetic, brave, but they can be restless, impatient. They can be a bit insensitive or impulsive because they're busy getting things done. So we have, for elements, fire, Aries. Put it here. Aries, who likes to act, loves to act. We have Leo here, who loves to lead. And then we have Sagittarius down here, also fire, who loves to explore and travel. Then we have Earth, our next element. So they're more cautious in their approach. They seek solid footing before they act. They can be practical and organized, patient, hardworking, dependable, but they can also be kind of conventional, kind of stubborn, resistant to change, things like that. And I just want to make a disclaimer too. Like I always say, we all have positive and negative qualities, or things that come easily to us and things that are challenging. So don't take any offense. It's just what makes us up. And yeah, all of this is for reflection anyway, and you can totally disagree. Anyway, we have Taurus, who loves to ponder. Loves to ponder. Virgo loves to analyze. Down here, Capricorn, also Earth, loves to plan. Then we have air, our next element. So they love learning, they bore easily, they love to receive and share information, interact with others. They're good at influencing society even. So they can be really articulate and objective and understanding, cooperative. They can also be kind of, with that objectivity comes maybe a chance of coming off as unemotional or dissociated from their bodies in the physical world. We have Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius as air. And then the final element's water. So they're deeply emotional. They respond to energy kind of unconsciously. So they're empathetic, nurturing, imaginative, intuitive. And they can also be oversensitive, vindictive, or moody or withdrawn. So we have Cancer here. Loves to nurture. Scorpio here has very intense focus, can be obsessive in a good way even. And then Pisces down here, who kind of absorbs their emotional surroundings, kind of like a chameleon. Okay, then we have the qualities. So for this, I'm gonna do colored pencils, I think. So it's how we still need the pen, how you respond to stimuli, especially when you are stressed. So I'm gonna do this first. There are just 3 of these. I think I'm going to outline that. Okay, so we have cardinal, fixed, and mutable, which means liable to change or able to change. So cardinal is the most assertive and interested in initiating change, and they begin new seasons, as I've said before. So that they begin things really easily, they respond well to new ideas. Crisis motivates them, and they like to stay in control by staying one step ahead. So let me get that color again. So we have Aries. Do it over here. We have Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn down here. So Aries loves leadership and control in general. No control that they don't like. Cancer tends to control emotions, family, like home life. Libra likes to control partnerships, and Capricorn likes to control the material environment they find themselves in. Then we have Fixed, which is the most stable and self-contained of the qualities. We have Taurus, we have Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And so yeah, they are passive but determined. They can be stubborn, but there's strength in their consistency and loyalty. So see, for example, how between the elements, qualities, and polarities all together, you can start to get a portrait of each sign. So if I say Fixed are focused and constant and loyal, you can see Scorpio, for example, is that way. They're fixed, and they are also a water sign, so they're also emotional, and you can kind of see what shape these different energies take when they're interacting together to get a more complete portrait, if that makes sense. So Taurus is just lovely and slow and steady. Scorpio, they're slow and use their lateness or that delay to gain power. Leos use a delay to gain attention, and then the Aquarius just wants things the way they want them. They want them on their own terms. And so sometimes they're late, sometimes they take their time in a way that's frustrating for others, but once they get to where they're going, they're there forever. So, all right, then we have mutable. So they are the most unstable, but that's because they're doing so much work, because they are taking what came before them and merging it with what comes after. So we need them. And they're most open to environmental influence. Yeah, so they're making the change from the old to the new, so they have to be flexible, they have to be tolerant. So we have Gemini, we have Virgo, we have Sagittarius, and Pisces. So Gemini changes its ideas a lot. Virgo is affected by its environment a lot. Sagittarius is constantly reevaluating life's possibilities. And Pisces adapts superficially to its environment. So they superficially, not in a shallow way per se, they're capable of so much. They have a lot of depth, but superficially in the way that a superficial change in the same way again as a chameleon, right? So they adapt to their environment, but just on the surface. Yeah. Okay, so now all we have left are polarities. This traditionally, well, there's just two. I'll write them first. We're going to use this symbol and this one. Active, we'll say receptive. So traditionally these were called like male and female energies, positive, negative, yin and yang, things like that. But I like active and receptive. You could do active and passive as well, but receptive, I think, has a bit more power to it than passive. So, and there, 6 actives, 6 receptives. All of the actives, or the yangs, or the male energy, they're all fire and air signs, and all of the yins, the receptives, are earth and water. So it's interesting because sometimes actives can have a hard time seeing eye to eye with receptives and vice versa. Fire and air get along really well. Fire needs air, air feeds fire, and same thing with earth and water. Earth and water give life to so many things. So that's kind of how those groups play out. So just in general, active is direct, outgoing, extroverted, and receptive is indirect, passive, introverted. And that's not to say one's better than the other. I think there's power in both of these things and in both of these energies. So we have Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarius are all active. And then Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces are all receptive. So that makes sense, right? Like you can see Taurus, of course, is receptive. Cancer, also receptive. Virgo, planning, receptive. Capricorn, receptive, right? And active, like of course Leo is active. Of course Sagittarius is active. So of course Aries is active, right? So the reason we made this chart was so that you can look at the zodiac signs and their elements, their qualities, and their polarities, and get a kind of portrait of the sign without necessarily having to have the nitty-gritty memorized, right? So again, to take Scorpio as an example, say you know nothing about Scorpio, but you can see that they're water, right? So they're very emotional. They're very susceptible to the energies around them and can be vindictive or withdrawn, yeah? And then we have fixed. So they're also very constant and dedicated and stable. So, the classic thing of like a Scorpio having an intense vision or target set ahead that they hone in on, that comes into play. And then we can also see they're receptive. So they are maybe more introverted. Again, that plays into the withdrawn nature. All receptives are waters or airs. Waters or earths. And you can see that more emotional side coming out here. And again, looking at your entire birth chart or entire zodiac chart, you can count up how many of each element you have, how many of each quality you have, and how many of each polarity you have. So say in your birth chart you have a mix of, I, for example, have 6 receptive signs in my birth chart and only 2 actives. Or I have, I think, something crazy like 7 earth signs, 2 fires, 1 water, and 0 air, right? So I definitely have a deficiency in quite a few signs, but especially air then. So it can kind of give you an idea of the bigger picture, not only how the zodiac signs work or act and operate, but also a fuller picture of your own personality according to your natal chart or birth chart. So I hope you enjoyed this, and Feel free to count up your elements, qualities, polarities. Let us know. Let me know what you think and what you have a lot of and what you have a little of, because, it's not just you that maybe is unbalanced. We all have different combinations of these things, and that's what's so cool about it. And I will see you soon. Okay, bye.